Hello there, thank you for stopping by today. I have an art journal video for you, so get comfy and let's get crafty. I'm working from the July 2022 mood board for the Artsytrio Facebook group. This mood board contains lots of feathers, lots of animal prints, lots of animal stuff. So I am beginning with a piece of mixed media paper that is approximately 5.5 by 8.5 inches, and I will cover it with this bird scrapbook paper. This is an old Stampin' Up! One, I think. And I'm going to adhere those papers together with some gel medium. And using the chip brush that I purchased at the Dollar Tree, or the $1.25 tree, and it's starting to leave a little bit of a texture behind. I accidentally let it dry and get hard. So it might be time to get a new chip brush, which is no big deal because they're like 2-pack for $1.25. I am going to adhere the mixed media paper to the left side or line up the mixed media paper to the left side and the bottom side of this scrapbook paper, the pattern paper. I'm going to add a little bit of gel medium to the other two edges to make sure all of my corners are stuck down tight. And then I will flip it over and add a layer of gel medium to the top of the pattern paper. Now I do this because I'd like to have that non-porous surface to work on when I'm adding other mediums. And I'm going to be adding a couple of other mediums. Once I have that all covered with gel medium and dried off, I'm going to flip it around or flip it over and trim it down with my super long Tim Holtz scissors. These have a no-stick blade, so it's okay that I use gel medium to adhere these papers together. The scissors will not get stuck together. And they're easy to clean. Okay, now I want to add some more of this texture, like the leopard print, the zebra print, even the feathers. So I'm going to be adhering some acrylic paint through stencils. I have a set of stencils that I've kind of cut down into little rectangles that I purchased a zillion years ago, probably from Michael's or Joann's or something. And they're all animal textures. I've got zebra and leopard and crocodile and cheetah. And I'm going to put some acrylic paint down through these stencils, and I've pulled out peacock feathers and wild honey. I wanted to do something feathery as well, and I don't have a feather stencil, but I have this leaf stencil. So I'm going to use one of the openings that's rather small and looks a little more featherish than leafish, or at least, I think it does. I could be imagining things, but that's my interpretation of the stencil, and it's all about how I see things, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this acrylic paint. It's distress paint. I am going to dry it in between real quick just because I don't want to smudge this already very loose image of a feather. And so I'm just kind of drying that off with my heat tool real quick before I add another turquoise or peacock colored feather to this. And once I have that second feather down, I will add a little bit of heat to dry that off with my heat tool as well. And then I am going to change up my color palette and the color of my paint. And I'm using this kind of shimmery, goldish green color acrylic paint. I think the brand is Jacquard. And I got an Amazon a while ago. It's a very translucent paint, but it's also a very shimmery and shiny paint, which turns out in the end not to matter. But I just kind of wanted to add another layer of color to my feather cluster or feather group here. It does seem to be a lot thinner than the distress paint, so I didn't really need to pull out my heat tool to add a second and even third feather to this grouping. I'm just going to kind of wave my hand over it for a minute, let it dry enough, and then go ahead and put a third feather right there off to the side so I have an odd number of feathers in my grouping. I'm then going to take this cheetah print and the wild honey distress paint, and I'm going to just use it as paint sponge and kind of put some of that cheetah print down in the bottom two corners. Not exactly the same, cousins, not sisters, or sisters, not twins, whatever you want to call it. And then I want to add a little bit more, but I'm not sure what. So first I want to show you my focal point. So I have printed and fussy cut out this giraffe. And he kind of blends in, so I have to figure something else out. But it's not just any giraffe. It is a giraffe with wings. Yeah, with wings. So I thought about it for a minute and decided I wanted to go ahead and use that zebra print kind of right there behind where I'm going to be placing the giraffe. And I pulled out the black distress paint. I don't remember what it's called. Smoky something or other, probably. I don't know. I don't know. And I just put a little tiny bit of that on my craft mat, and I'm picking that up with a piece of a sponge and just kind of adding that paint through the stencil with that little piece of sponge. Not exactly sure how dark it's going to be, but I just need it to be dark enough to make that giraffe pop. Once I had that all cleaned up and dried off, I went ahead and added a little bit of gel medium behind the giraffe, and I'm going to stick the giraffe and his back wing down. And once I have those in place, I will add a little bit more gel medium and put the front wing on. So I have been doing some digital collaging on my computer just for fun when I need something creative to do but don't really feel like getting all of my supplies out. And this is one of the digital collages I made some time ago. It's just saved on my computer, and I have the image saved, and then I have the pieces and parts saved on a different piece of paper. So here is my mood board again, and I have the animal patterns and the colors, and like even that red represented in my mood board here. And here is the quote, the sarcastic comment, the thing that pulled it all together in my mind. And it says, wing it, life, eyeliner, everything. And sometimes I feel like I am in a constant state of winging it. When you are a mother of multiple children, and in fact, I have kids in 3 different schools and have had kids in 3 different schools every school year except for one since, oh my gosh, for like the last 10 years or something like that, because I have a lot of children. And so I feel like sometimes I am constantly in a stage of winging it. I am trying to, as my kids get older, I have a little bit more of that plan option and schedule things out option. And their activities take a little bit longer, and they don't need me all the time. Like my youngest is 10, and we're getting to a little bit more independent phase of his life. But still, as a mom with children, life is a constant stage of winging it. I am not very good at winging eyeliner, so I totally don't. But I can wing life, and I can wing just about everything else, including this giraffe. Now, I've decided that the background is still just a little bit too much. And this is what I should have done in the first place. I should have added some white gesso to the pattern paper after I added the other textures and prints, or even before, just to kind of knock that back, especially because my giraffe, my main focal image, is the same kind of color as that paper. That just was not my, not the best choice, I guess. I just liked it because it was birds and it had feathers and wings and it was animal, and it kind of went with what I was going with here, the whole winging it thing. So I just have some white gesso and a very wet paintbrush and a little puddle of water on my craft mat. And I am just going around my focal image and my quote strips. I do end up getting a little bit of gesso on things that I have to then go back and correct, but that's okay. Gesso will dry back. So even though this looks like it's being erased, once it's dry, it's fine. And now that it's dried, I'm going to go ahead and put another coat of gel medium over the top of that just to make sure that I can add some shading and some blending with my pit markers when I have this all done. So I've pulled out my Faber-Castell pit pens. This has been dried. I made sure it was really, really dry with my heat tool, because if I get any of that gel medium on the nibs of these markers, they will be trashed. They will no longer be usable, and they're way too expensive for that. So I pulled out a red and an orange, but then I also pulled out a gray and a brown. And I think that the red and the orange might be just a bit too much, like not enough shadowing, just too kind of, because the background is so pale. And I was right, so I went ahead around the wings and added a gray shadow around the wings. And that just kind of pulls the wings both up off the page, but then makes them look like they are part of the page at the same time. Now, part of those wings got a little bit of the white gesso on it, so I took that red pit pen and just colored them back in. And then I will take a black zig marker and kind of fill it in with the black zig pen, or not zig marker, zig pen. I am using a wet fingertip. I have a damp wipe there off to my right-hand side, and I will just kind of every once in a while wet my fingertips down and blend that back in. I don't want the lines to be so visible, which is really easy with the gray. The brown is a little bit more pigmented, so it's obviously a little bit more finicky when it comes to blending that and making it look like shadow instead of looking like the main image, the main thing you want to be looking at. And I did kind of lose where the tail to the giraffe was in that zebra print, but it's all good. I like how it turned out, so it's all good. The brown is definitely pulling that giraffe up off of the background and making it look like the focal image. If not background, it is the focal image we want to be looking at. So here I have my zig pen and I'm coloring in the hooves and the end of the tail. I will add some black back to the wings, and also my little word strips at the top. At the top, they need a little bit of fill in as well. Now, I decided to add eyeliner to my giraffe. Oh yeah, and I winged the eyeliner on this giraffe. I should have given him eyelashes too. That would have been so cool. But once I got the eyeliner all winged on there, I needed to add the white to his eye back in. So I just pulled out a jelly roll pen, a white gel pen, and added the whites of his eyes back in. And unfortunately, it didn't zoom in very well, but you got the idea. My giraffe has wings and winged eyeliner because I'm cheeky like that. And it's just been that kind of a day. My summer vacation is going splendidly in that I don't have alarm clocks. And because my youngest is 10, like I said, he thinks that if he sneaks past my bedroom and can go downstairs and turn on the TV, then he can watch TV longer because I just won't get out of bed. See, I figure he's not sneaking past me. He's literally walking past my room. And I kind of figured that as long as he's not, setting fire to things, then he can stay down there and watch TV till I'm ready to get out of bed. So summer vacation is going splendidly. The downside to that is I am losing a lot of early morning time to get things done. So I'm staying up a little later than my usual. Anyway, now that I have my words all outlined, I will go ahead and sign and date this. And then I am going to ground my giraffe. It felt like, even though he's got wings, it felt like he needed a little bit of grounding. So I've taken the light green Pitt pen and just wet my fingertip and kind of, what's the right word? Smeared that around. There we go. I added a little bit of brown to it to kind of give it that green, grassy feel. And then I will also pull in the darker green from this set to give it kind of a little bit more depth and dimension. And I like how it looks because even though the giraffe has wings, he has to stand on the ground sometime, right? And it just feels like it finished it. Okay, last few steps of this page are to go ahead and adhere the second half of that pattern paper to the back of the page. I'm just using my ATG gun because I have already put the lid on my gel medium and stuck my brush in a cup of water. And I want to line this up, but it's kind of not flat anymore because of all of the gel medium and gesso and stuff. So instead, I just kind of centered it in that page, and then I'll bring my paper trimmer out and just trim it off. I don't have to worry about making sure that the sides are lined up perfectly. Just with all of the extra layers, it just was not laying flat enough to do that today because I was not using a liquid adhesive as well. I am now going to use my same tape runner and add the mood board photograph to the back of my art journal page. And off camera, I will go ahead and punch holes in that page so that I can put it into my 3-ring binder that I keep all of my art journal pages in. So here I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that you can see some of that texture and some of the details of the page. Also, I'm going to zoom in so that you can see my text block a little bit. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up. Any kind of interaction you could have would be fabulous. I have added a couple of other videos here for you to watch, as well as a subscribe button. If you have not done so already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. And like always, I hope you have a really, really, really fabulous day.